Hello, everyone. What is going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome to another special edition of the TNT podcast.
Magic edition.
Yeah, this is the Magic the Gathering special number. What is it? We just talked. What is it? 5, 6?
This is our fifth one.
Fifth,
Have we
five.
done 5 or this is our 5th? Yeah.
I keep forgetting.
5's the magic number somewhere in here.
Yeah. We're either 5 plus 1 or 5 on the dot. So either way, though, we have quite a lot of stuff to cover. So we're not going to go quite in depth as the previous podcast, as the previous specials where we talked about every card that interested us.
We'll probably just talk about the mythics and pick out individual rares that appeal to us, and then just skip through the rest.
Basically, we both have Mythic Spoiler open with 3 tabs for Battlebond, Core Set M19, and Commander 2018, which just finished spoiling on Friday, which is why we waited to do this podcast today. Oh, Mythic Spoiler actually only has the new cards from Commander.
Oh, they don't have the reprints in here?
No. Interesting.
Oh, God, we have to go to the Wizards website.
Nah, who cares? Dude, we know enough. And it's
Yeah.
mostly about the new cards, considering. We'll get into that when we get to Commander. But for now, we're going to start off with Battlebond.
Starting off strong here.
So, is it fair to say this was the most exciting supplemental product of the year so far?
Hands down. This was definitely the most exciting one to see spoilers for.
Yeah, there is a lot of cool stuff. There's lots of cool reprints that were really money reprints, some amazing new cards, especially for Commander, and just the return of the partner Commandic, but with it fixed to be a little less busted. Just a fantastic set overall. And from what I heard, especially on the subreddit, doing the two-headed giant events with the set was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, I know a lot of... I'm trying to remember if there was another set that was designed with two-headed giant in mind.
I don't believe so. I mean, there's conspiracy stuff, but this is different.
Yeah, no, this is the first one that was designed for. Because I know in the past they've done, for pre-releases, they'll do, regular sealed but two-headed giant, and it always feels awkward because the set doesn't
I get what you mean. Yeah. They've probably done that before, but this is the first set for two-headed giant.
Yep.
And I don't want to spoil Commander 2018, but the
superior multiplayer product right here.
This kind of hurt the success of the cards in Battlebond damaged Commander 2018 in the end. I think it's fair to say.
I don't know, man. Battlebond could have not existed, and I'd still be disappointed what happened.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, you see things so we're gonna start. We'll just start looking at some of the mythics. We have the 2 new partner planeswalkers. We have True Name Nemesis reprint. We have Najila, who's already the best warrior commander possible. And we have a reprint of Doubling Season. True Name Nemesis, like I said. Arena Rector, Archfiend of Despair, Brightling, which people are flip-flopping on in Legacy. Land Tax reprint.
Brightling's cool. I'm so excited to see Land Tax reprint, especially with the nice art.
Yeah, I love that. That's the art I have because I actually bought one of those Judge promo ones.
I
over
only
a year
own one
ago.
copy, and it's the ugly old dude one.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it.
I'm sure there's people who are like, the old art is always better because it's classic. But the treasure chest, opening on, a planet-sized level where you see the lands, that's just so cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, there's... Since we're not getting into specifics, we're not going to hit quite everything, but there was just so much cool multiplayer stuff, every card that could say target player instead of you, so you could help your ally. Most of them have that. Even new cards like the where is it? There was the Mana Rock that was new, wasn't there? Where you could give it to. No, I'm crazy. Okay, I'm lying. But there was Spectral Searchlight as the 3 mana rock that gives a player artifact. What?
They're all at the bottom.
Yeah, that's where they always put them. Or the new cards like Victory Chimes. They untap during every player's step, and it's a player of your choice gets mana. Just so many cool things that play around with the fact that there are multiple people. The new assist mechanic, where someone can pay mana to help you out. Partner with, where if you play a card and your partner in Two-Headed Giant has the other card with it in the deck, they get to tutor it up, and you get
definitely open up more interaction with you and your partner. Previously, it was almost just you were just 2 independent entities who happened to share a life total. Now it's more oh hey, I'm gonna cast this instant and it'll actually help my teammate's creature, not just mine.
Yep. So overall, I mean, let's just go through. I mean, because we've kind of talked before about things we want to have in a commander deck. Things because obviously I haven't done a Command Me video in quite a while because I just have been busy / been playing a lot less Commander since my store closed, unfortunately. So I've been a little less invested in Magic.
Of course.
But we're definitely going to go through and talk about some really interesting cards because I think there's some here for each of us that are cards that we want to look at. All the way at the top, I mean, I already owned a Doubling Season, a non-foil old Ravnica one, and I don't really love this art, but hopefully it'll drive the price down a little bit just by existing. But I think the two Planeswalkers together, I told you I threw around the idea of an Adeliz Wizard Izzet deck for about a day or two, and they were definitely going to be in it. I would love to use them someday, but because they're super cool.
The problems are a little overcosted.
They are. But you got to think, you play one and you tutor the other for free.
Pretty much.
That's part of the idea with these. Stunning Reversal, I'm tempted to try to find a place for that in my Kess deck, just because it's wild. The next time is Stunning Reversal, 3 and a black, instant. The next time you would lose the game this turn, instead draw 7 cards and your life total becomes 1. Problem with that is in Commander a lot, you literally have to be relying on one combat step to kill you for this to save you. Infect still kills you, Milling still kills you. Actually, no, Milling doesn't kill you. Actually, no, it would because draw 7.
Draw 7 kills you, yeah. This is only a damage prevention.
Combo kills like Porphyros or something else still kills you. What else? Any kind of combo kill, really. So, yeah, it's not perfect in Commander, but it's just such a cool card. Najeela, like we said, she is far and away the most popular card from the set, I'm pretty sure.
Definitely.
She's just a win condition in herself.
Yeah. The fact that also supports like warriors as a tribe is definitely going for her as a commander, but it's just
I know some people
abilities all around.
So I know that there's been a conversation, at least I've seen a few comments on the subreddit lately, about how people are worried about the homogenization of Commander because because Wizards is constantly printing better commanders. Like Najeela, because the argument is, well, why would you ever run anything else as a warrior commander? Well, that's fair,
you have to take advantage of 5 color in order to like make her better. Like if you're not going 5 color and you just want to build whatever color combo you want, cut off the bottom half of her card, and all it says whenever a warrior attacks, create a 1/1 warrior.
Yeah,
and that's your floor. It's are there other warriors that do other things you care about, or do those 1/1 tokens matter to you? Because I'm not gonna lie. 1/1 tokens in Commander are not as amazing as you think. Actually, hold on.
But
each of those tokens would end up making another token next turn.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's the trick.
Right,
tokens make tokens is why it's
Okay.
good. But my point is, it's okay to have a really good warrior commander because you can still build the deck however you want. And even if you just look at tribes, we have like over a few hundred tribes in Commander, or so, like over 100 different tribes.
Yeah.
And most of them don't even have a support card yet. Like, it's okay that Wizards doesn't need to make another warrior commander someday. There's so much other space for them to use.
Yeah, I mean, it's also... So this one in particular, tribal does matter, but you can print a legendary commander who's a warrior, and it doesn't have to be a warrior to be good. Like, when you play Marchesa, no one plays Marchesa because... I don't even know what her secondary type. She's human something. But nobody gives a shit about either of her creature types because her ability is what matters. So... The question is, if you want to play like warrior tribal, where the number of warrior spells you have matters, yeah, maybe this might be the best. But then you have stuff like, I don't know, like if you have a warrior sub team, or just like you like the cards, you don't necessarily need to have like warrior tribal and have a warrior commander. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you're not required to run tribal in Commander.
Yeah, tribal is good, especially with the new Ixalan cards like Vanquisher's Banner and stuff. But there's so many things you can do. And so original Marchesa the Black Rose is a human wizard. She's obviously not the best wizard commander, but people still play her like crazy because she's just weird.
Yeah.
And her new version is an assassin, so you can build assassin tribal, monarch tribal. there's just so many options.
Assassin
it's so cool.
Is such a weird deck.
I kind of tried to originally put Assassins in my Marchesa deck that I gave away a while ago, but yeah, it's...
a couple in there, but it doesn't work out the way you think it's going to.
But people can still build that, even if it's not that good.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? This is Commander. I've gotten blown out by decks that are worth a fraction of my like what I spent on my deck because I blinged mine out. And then I've blown people out who had much more expensive decks. Commander is so much about the people you play with, the decks that you're playing against. It's such a minor complaint. I mean, Freeman, how many times have we played Commander? Every game has been different.
Yeah, it's except for certain games like when I play Sisse where I end up tutoring like the same like 5-6 in a row because they're the best legendary creatures. Except for stuff like that, like other games, they're always different. There's so much variance when you play 100 cards.
But the reason you play Sisse is because you can tutor up what you need for a scenario, and there's a strength to that.
Yeah.
So it's why I love Commander, because it's such an open format. There's no sideboarding. There's no stuff. There's just make your strong deck, politic with other people, and play the best game that you can. It's so much. That's why I love Commander.
Yeah.
But anyway, with that rant over, we can at least talk about a few more of the awesome cards from Battlebond. Bramble Sovereign. I had never seen this card played until Commander Versus, actually, this past week. Justin Parnell, he played this card. He played... Oh, they were... Did you see it? I guess you didn't see it.
No, I didn't.
They did legendary creatures, or John Suarez played Tameo, the field researcher, and their weapon. So Justin Parnell played Kamal, Fist of Krosa, the mono green guy, with Mirari, like the old artifact Mirari.
Interesting.
And so he had like 20 lands on turn 6 because he copied ramp spells. And he played Bramble Sovereign, and then paying 2 more for a Terastodon to get 2 Terastodons.
That actually
real
sounds dirty.
Fucking good. The only thing that sucks is I can not put it in my Selvala deck because she doesn't really help the card draw, and she doesn't help Selvala make more mana. So she doesn't fit in that deck, but she's still a super cool card. Like, paying 2 mana to get a copy of a creature is... I mean, that's mirror works for artifacts or anything. Like, it's super busted.
Yeah.
Arcane Artisan, I think there's been some play of this in Legacy, actually, as like a backup show and tell thing.
I need to read this real quick. I don't remember what it does.
I'll just read it out loud while you do for the people at home. It's a 2 mana and a blue, 2 and a blue creature, 0/3 human wizard. 2 and a blue, tap it. Target player draws a card, then exiles a card from their hand. If a creature card is exiled that way, they create a token that's a copy of that card, and when it leaves the battlefield, exile all the tokens that were created with it at the beginning of the next end step. So...
Oh, that's pretty cool.
The idea is you sneak and show something like maybe Emrakul, or just any of the Eldrazi, or Gristlebrand for going off purposes. And the idea is that you either just protect the Arcane Artisan with things like Force of Will, or it's more mana than show and tell for sure, but it's one-sided, so you can't get blown out by a mirror match. And
repeated value.
Well, it also stays on the field. That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
You don't, unless they have a stifle, they don't counter this. Like, they can counter show and tell.
Yeah.
So if you get the creature on the board, you can always leave that up too. Like, you could leave it on the opponent's turn, or you could just use it as hand filtering. So it's a really cool card.
It is basically a looter.
We have the weirdest worm ever printed. I think we talked about this in the regular podcast episode.
This thing is ridiculous.
Grothama All Devouring. I'm not even going to go into it. Just read the card and try to figure it out. It's cool because, this is another point I saw on the subreddit recently. We don't have a legendary worm tribal commander, but we have Grothama, who wants you to play giant creatures to fight the worm, and worms are huge. Like, the commander doesn't always have to be the tribal payoff card. It could just be part of the tribe, and you're allowed to say, I want to build a worm deck with him at the head, even though he doesn't have used the word worm on his card.
That's
okay.
what's her name? The green-white enchantment god. When she was basically the post child for Karametra, she was the post child for green-white enchantments, and everyone was bitching like, "Oh, she doesn't care about enchantments." And like, yeah, she doesn't, but she's an enchantment in a deck that cares about enchantments. So you can always go it that way. Your commander does not need to be the centerpiece. Like, I don't know. Like occasionally, whenever I play slivers, everyone gets all up in arms about it. And sometimes for fun, I'll swap out the powerful ones and put in Sliver Legion, arguably the shittiest sliver commander. And even then, all he does is he's basically just like an overrun effect on a stick. The rest of the deck still functions fine. It's a sliver deck whether he's there or not, but he's just a part of it. And that's kind of how Grathama wants you to build your deck. It doesn't even have to be worms. But if it is worms, it's kind of nice.
It fits. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just this is also the reason like that it bothers me that people say Commander is getting lame because of specialized commander. Wizards has proven almost every single set that they find ways to print weird commanders and then other tribal commanders.
I really want to meet the guy who's butthurt that there's now a viable worm commander. Like
but it doesn't give you a bonus for a worm creature.
Well, that doesn't matter. If you're not playing the deck, no one gives a shit. But Timmy down the street, who loves playing mono green worms, that's who this card is for.
Yep. He's going to read it and go, "Oh my god, I can kill my own commander to draw 1 billion cards. That's so cool. Oh my god."
And play more creatures.
Yep. Personal note, Mystic Confluence was printed in this set. Now I can get a foil.
Much needed reprint.
Actually, let's go to TCG Player. I wonder how much a foil actually is.
Probably a lot. This is a really good spell.
I mean,
I
it's
get blown out by it constantly.
Oh, in Commander, it's the greatest thing on earth. There's a Judge promo also. Well, shit, the Judge promo is only $17.
Is the art the same or is it different?
Yeah, it's the same, but it has the shooting star.
Oh.
Which is what's the important thing. Okay, so the Judge promo is almost $20. That was when I go to near mint, and the Battlebond one is about 11.
Okay, it's affordable.
But that's important because now I can put a foil in cast. So, man, there's just so many other cards. Thrilling Encore, Board Wipe. Oh, 5 mana. All the creatures are mine now.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
It's just the greatest. Sorry, I skipped a row.
Yeah, I was confused. Like, wait, where are you seeing this?
No, just because there's not much. I mean, there's like Zinder Splints. Oh, Friend or Foe actually is another amazingly cool mechanic. Oh, Friedman, we're fighting Luigi. You're my friend. He's the foe. Friend, foe. Let's each get a copy that's a token of a creature we control, and Luigi, bounce a creature you control to you.
Hell yeah. I like this. This is a politics card.
All of these Friend or Foe ones are so, like, it's kind of like Tempt with Discovery and that kind of thing, where you get to mess around with the game. That's what's so cool about it. Like, I wish I had the money to just do a rework of a bunch of Commander decks right now, but we'll get to that at the end.
So the card's not particularly amazing, but I love the art on game plan, and I kind of want to play that.
Oh, it's so cool. I highly recommend anyone at home look up the card game plan. It's literally this giant woman whose head is like sliced off kind of right above the eyes, and it turns into a whole game field. It looks kind of like a sports arena.
You got like people casting spells. It looks really cool.
It's really neat. I mean, the whole Battlebond theme is it's a plane with these amazing arenas.
That's pretty much it. They're in like every artwork.
Yeah.
Except the reprints, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like Conspiracy, where they're usually on theme, but some are just whatever.
Yep.
We had a new Magus of the Candelabra, which is awesome because it's fixed, which kind of sucks. But it's super cool that we're continuing the Magus cycle. It's like every supplemental product that has a Magus card, which is awesome.
I'm glad they're still doing it. I know I think it was Commander they first did it, and I was like, oh, they're not going to do this again. Even if it's a fixed version of the original spell. This is a one-time joke.
Every year.
And so every year there's like a new one. It's really cool.
We had one in Commander 2018.
Yeah. Oh, I was shocked to see that one.
Commander, yeah, Magus of Balance. God. Yeah. Fucking crazy. You know what someone posted in the comment thread about that? The dirtiest play you can make with that card? Take a second and think about it. What's a white spell that came out in Commander in Commander last year,
Oh, do you just like phase all your crap out on the activation?
You hold
Using
priority
Teferi's
with Magus of the
Protection?
Balance activation, cast Teferi's Protection, and then wipe out all of their creatures, enchantments, and lands
Oh
because
my
they
God.
have nothing. Because you have nothing on the board.
We'll get to that when we get to Commander, but there's a lot of
It's the
broken crap
dirtiest
you can do
fucking
with that
thing.
card.
But yeah, more friend or foe cards, reprints like Mangara of
Megara.
Korondor.
Oh man, that's an old one I haven't seen in a while.
I'm pretty sure you have that as removal in Sisay, don't you?
I think I stopped it because it's so slow.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I used to use it.
I think it's in Legacy though.
It used to be used in Death and Taxes
Uh-huh.
because you could vial it in.
Yeah,
And
and
a
activate
turn,
it.
and then on your turn activate it.
Plus, can't you bounce it in response because it's just a tap ability? It's not a you don't. The cost isn't exiling itself. The resolution is.
Yes,
But if
yeah,
you bounce
you
it,
had
it's
a way
fine.
to bounce it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Again, we have cool. Oh man.
Oh, that's what it was. It was you bounce it with what's it called? Caracas. Bounce legendary.
Yes. You use
yeah,
your
that
own
was what you did.
Caracas to
That
pay
was
no
the
mana to
tap.
tap that, then hold priority and tap and bounce with Caracas to exile any permanent with no cost.
God, I love that tech. Also, the play of the game is a card name now.
Oh, play of the game is an amazing, and it's honestly for people on a budget, that's an amazing board wipe.
It's really good, especially if you've got a situation like we're sitting at a table, everyone realizes.
Hey, Luigi's taking off.
Luigi's about to win. I'm like, hey guys, you want to help pay some mana for play
Let's
of the
have
game?
the play of the game. Okaun, Eye of Chaos, and Zindersplit, Eye of Wisdom. We now have Coin Flip Tribal, which Stephen Green actually used to win in Commander Clash. He literally won because these have... Oh, it's so cool. These cards are busted. They're actually stupidly good together.
Yeah.
Like, oh, at the beginning of combat on your turn, flip 2 coins. Potentially double power for every win and draw a card for every win. Like, it's so dumb. Pure Imaginative Rascal and his combo with, who's it called? Toothy, his imaginary friend. All the partners, legendary and non-legendary, but the non-legendaries aren't quite as interesting. But the legendary ones are all super cool together.
They are.
The Demon
really
and
sweet.
Angel, the Assassin and the Warrior. God. And then we have things like Spell Seeker that people are trying out in Legacy. Stolen Strategy, which is a Tali, but you have to pay for spells, which is so cool. Like Vigor reprint. I haven't seen that card in like 5 years since Ryan played it. That's how long ago it was.
I didn't even know that was an existing card.
Oh, Vigor is super busted in casual play when you don't have a way to kill things without damage.
Holy crap, that's pretty good.
Seedborn Muse reprint, because that's the best non-Prophet of Kruphix card in Commander. Pride of Pulse of Marasa. That card is played in Pauper like crazy. That used a reprint, huh?
I'm just reading through it. I didn't know it was played much in Pauper.
Oh, because it was printed in common in Battle for Zendikar, so it's gain 6 and return a combo card usually to your hand. Pauper, that's busted. Chain Lightning reprint, Beast Within reprint.
I was pissed at that Chain Lightning reprint because I thought it was Bolt at first because the artwork is so similar.
So close. More assist Swords to Plowshares, always worth a reprint.
Always worth playing.
The Warriors to go with the Warrior.
With I don't know if that's new artwork.
I believe it's new artwork because I'm pretty sure the only artwork that existed was the guy over the table.
Yeah, I don't like the old one. This one looks. I mean, it's okay. It's clean. I like newer card looks.
I don't play the card. Period.
If you ever play, was it like Nick Fit in Legacy?
Yeah, that's where you. Yeah.
If you ever play the one that I own, that stupid black green reanimator commander. What's her name? The best one, the experience counter.
Oh my God! Why? What is happening? Am I having a seizure? Like,
yeah,
what is going on?
Remember this?
I'm gonna see her name in half a second because I'm on EDH Rec already, and I'm gonna be like, I'm so fucking stupid. Oh my God! I even went to the wrong color combination.
Glenn Nell Toth. What's her actual name?
Marin.
Marin. There you go.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I will run one of those in Marin.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. Just even these commons are all good. And the art on them is all so cool.
Oh, they put a Restless Explorer in here. Good. That means you get that in foil now too, because that used to be Commander exclusive.
Oh yeah. You're right. That was in the cat deck. Oh no, it was in the cat second. Wasn't it something else first?
Yeah, it was in Black White Enchantments. Daxos, because that's why I have a copy of this.
Then you have things like Fog Bank, which is always a goofy card. That was one of Ed's favorite cards. Yeah, and just so many other even at common, like new cards. Like I can't find any, but I like how Negate is basically printed in every single set going forward, as long as for the rest of time.
I mean, it's one of those safe cards. It's not too strong. It's just strong enough.
Something's too strong. Start drafting all the negates.
When you suddenly live in a limited format where non-creature spells are the big thing.
Yeah. Man, there's just so many.
Totally Lost was in here. Huge meme potential right there.
Oh yeah, so much. The original Magic meme, really. But then you get to multicolor, and you get to the new hat frames that people call them. I actually really like how the 2-color looks still. I know you're not a fan.
Yeah,
of how
I'm not the biggest fan, but it's growing on me to the point where I don't think it looks unusual anymore. I'm now used to it, but I still don't. I don't know. I think it's the non-white looks fine. It's the white I don't like on there, and that's I
fair.
Play white more than any other color.
That's why I like the Izzet from the new.
Dude, the Izzet ones end up looking really cool.
Speaking of it growing on me, though, this new My Hero opening is kind of growing.
Get the fuck out of here! I can't stand this opening. It's not time for the weep shit.
No. You know what opening I can stand, though? I listened to it 20 times on Thursday.
What?
Think about what we've been watching.
Which of the Haikyuu openings? Because they're all really good.
What would we have been on Thursday if we just started season 3 earlier today?
You were on the end of season 2. I'm trying to remember which opening was it. I think it was the second one by Spire.
I can fly. Da, da, da.
Oh, no. I know the one. Okay, yeah. That band also does the... I think it's the opening for season 3. Is that the same one?
I don't know. All I know is the second opening for season 2 with Fly, with all the stuff for their match with Saijo.
Yep.
I listened to it literally 20 times on Thursday. I love that opening so much. It's such a happy song. It's great.
So,
but back to Magic.
One last quick fun anime fact. The composer for Hero Academia is also the composer for Haikyuu.
I just found that out literally yesterday from a comment on subreddit.
Because it was a year or two ago. I was listening to Haikyuu soundtrack and I couldn't. I was like, why is there this one song that I remember very vividly that's not anywhere on these soundtracks? Until I remembered it was "You Say Run" from Hero Academia.
Val actually said it sounds like "You Say Run" half the time in Haikyuu.
Oh, there's a reason.
Anyway, back to
multicolor. We got Denrova Horror giving me terrible flashbacks to Modern Masters.
Oh, dude, that was
what was it?
Busted fucking Modern card when we did that.
Whatever it was.
Yeah, it was the last Modern. It was the one we drafted.
Yep.
Archon of Valor's Reach, new Reanimator target in Legacy to block the fuck out of people. It's also just a super cool card. I would run it in my Angel deck, actually, if there weren't so many card types in that deck. Last one standing, Board Wipe for Rakdos.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Why not? It's super good.
Unflinching Courage gets that much needed reprint.
Oh yeah, dude, always need it. Rushblade Commander for worst art in many years. It really doesn't look good.
It looks ridiculous.
It looks like MMO artwork. But it's literally just purple girl running.
It looks like an ability in like
yes,
League or
yes. Oh, you're so right. Look at the row. Look at the row it's in. Look at the row it's in. Relentless Hunter, which looks amazing. Azra Oddsmaker, who also looks sick. Unflinching Courage, which is just classic great art, and even Savage Ventmaw is like breathing fire in your face. Like it just doesn't compare.
It even uses swishy anime backgrounds too.
Oh my god, it's literally like Food Wars where they have to have cheap animation. Oh god. Oh man.
Everything else in the multicolor is pretty mad. Let's see artifacts.
Reprints though, Mycosynth Lattice,
Genesis Chamber.
Reprint. Genesis Chamber for your goofy modern deck. Just other little decent things. Spectral Searchlight, like I said, Consulate Skygate, Culling Daysitch, which is pretty good. Victory Champs, and Sentinel Tower, which is kind of a new win condition for Storm. I actually have one. in the pile of things on my desk because I opened 3 packs of Battlebond and one of them
Lets
was
you
a
go
Sentinel
infinite
Tower.
with non-damaging spells.
What?
Like if you can recur a spell, but it's not necessarily a damaging spell.
Oh, yeah. If you have like a
turns
buyback
them.
thing.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, man. Could you imagine a mono green Storm deck with this and that Sapperling making card?
Oh my god.
Dude, that'd be hilarious. Oh my god, that'd be the greatest thing ever.
Oh, hold on. I found the mana rock you were talking about earlier, the Spectral Searchlight. That was one you were thinking
Yeah.
of.
Right under Sentinel Tower. Yeah, that's the one because you can buff up your allies. Juggernaut
Yeah.
reprint as always. And the cool new lands. The super cool new dual lands that are basically budget, untapped, non-fetchable lands in Commander all the time.
Plus, the art on them is phenomenal.
They all look great. The luxury suite is all, I think that's one of my favorites. That and Sea of Clouds.
Morphic Pool and Sea of Clouds are definitely my favorite.
Morphic Pool kind of, I can see why. I bet it's because it has that kind of, what's it called?
The Tron Vaporwave aesthetic.
Yeah, the Vaporwave.
That's why I like it. It's got
the blue
purple
lines. Yep. And then the blue. See, I saw the blue and I was like, oh, there it is. There's the cyberpunk glow in the orange. Yeah.
I didn't actually look at these basics. I need these planes.
Yeah, they're all cool. They're all arenas. Oh, they're super slick. But yeah, that's Battlebond. Overall, one of the greatest successes of the year, I think. If you'll recall, Freeman, we saw Dominaria and then we saw this and we said Wizards is having an amazing year.
We did. We were like, they're on a roll right now.
And then M19 came out, and we still thought that because M19 is a fantastic set as well.
Don't get us wrong. It's a good core set, and we're going to go through this. Like, I remember talking on the podcast. We were looking through it, and I sat there during Spoiler Week and I forgot how normal cards in core sets are. Because I'm like, I'm not excited about a lot of these. But then I was like,
nope.
I'm not supposed to be. This set isn't for the guy who wants crazy new weird tech for Commander.
Nope.
This is for people who are playing Standard and want reliable archetypes they can use.
Well, no,
or beginners who are getting.
This definitely has some Commander stuff.
Oh no, I'm talking about
some of this is batshit enough for Commander. Yeah, for M19. I'm saying M19.
Oh really?
Yeah, there is some dude. We'll get it. That's what.
We'll get into that in 2 seconds.
There is some. The higher rarities at least have a lot of Commander shit, like with the Elder Dragons and stuff.
The rares and mythics for M19 were really good.
But this is also one of those sets that just is a solid set to support Standard. Give you a lot of reprints that there's no real way to get into Standard or Modern without using up space that's not really on theme in other sets. Things like, what was this? Wasn't there a black spell, like Duress or something? No, not Duress. Wasn't there something else that was reprinted in this that was kind of a big deal for Modern to kind of just make it easier on Modern? We'll find it.
Yeah, we'll
maybe.
It.
I feel like there was. But either way, this is just one of those sets that provides a few new really cool toys, honestly. There's some really, really sick tech in
here. There is some interesting stuff in here. We do need to deal, with the community's biggest complaint. I saw a lot of people on Reddit absolutely trashing the set because it refused to uphold the Magic tradition of having slivers in the core set. So I understand everyone's concern. No, I'm joking.
Dude, we're not going to see slivers until we see a set with slivers in them.
Yeah, we're not. We had 2 opportunities. We had Dominaria and we had the core sets, and it was no go on either.
Dude, core set 20, man. Next year, you're gonna get it.
It'll happen at some point.
But switching over from Battlebond, which was like a 9 out of 10 to the 8 out of 10 that was core 19. There is some stuff in this set as well. Just looking at the Mythics on top of Mythic Spoiler. We also had one of the biggest controversies of the year, Nexus of Fate, which is apparently putting up some numbers, unfortunately.
I'm just going to start by saying that playing the older quartets, the Planeswalkers always sucked in them until about M15 when they started getting a little bit better. But the Planeswalkers for this core set are actually really cool. And if I was playing Standard right now, I'd be super happy to see all of these.
I can tell you 3 of them have potential for Commander decks of mine someday. We'll just start with the Planeswalkers. So this is the core sets, for those of you who don't know, since they've been gone for a few years. Core sets are Magic's chance to take a break from a story-based, on-theme plane and just print cards that can be building blocks in Standard and not be story connected, and just fill some holes and just be a solid building block. And they succeeded by far. We have the 5 planeswalkers right on top, 5 monocolored planeswalkers. All of them are really interesting. We have a Johnny who is probably the weakest one of them all, honestly.
Yeah, this is definitely an Ajani card. I'm just going to speak from a white player's perspective because I always try to jam whatever new Ajani comes out. Ajani always has the issue that he's a 1/1 counter planeswalker, and they almost never given the ability of make a token, so he doesn't have the +1 does his real shit, -2 protects him, ultimate does some winning thing. But with this Ajani, his +1 is still 1/1 counters. His minus lets you bring back small creatures, so he ties in very well with the white weenie strategy, and I think he is the kind of card you do want to play in a mono white deck because no one talks about this as a beginner. Beginners hate spending money on dual lands, and this is an understandable thing. I hated when I played, I was like, I'm not spending money on shock lands. I'm going to play monocolor, and a lot of these play well into what their monocolor does. They're not supposed to be designed even this is mono red. It's supposed to be a red black mana. No, these fit into your monocolor strategies.
Going through though, probably my favorite planeswalker from the set, Tezzeret Artifice Master. Thop.
Holy crap, he's good.
He is probably what a fixed Jace almost looks like.
Pretty much.
His 0, you're basically in the deck you want, you're always going to draw 2 cards for 0. Drawing 2 and then drawing 2 again, or the drawing 2 and then making a Thopter over 2 turns is actually busted rate for a planeswalker.
Yeah.
I can't wait to run him in my Brea deck, which at the end of the podcast we might talk about how that Brea deck is going to go through a massive overhaul, potentially. Liliana, probably going to go in a zombie deck someday.
Super good in zombies.
She has been putting up surprise... So, you know what sucks? Remember how a year ago, when Shadows over Innistrad was going to rotate...
Oh my god.
And everyone was like, look at how cool zombies were for 5 seconds while Amonkhet and Shadows over Innistrad were together. And here we are again with Liliana and a bunch of sick-ass zombies coming out in M19, and everyone's like, look at these 3 months of amazing zombie decks before Amonkhet rotates out now.
I was just going to say, Amonkhet zombies have now had 2 completely separate iterations of being good, so at least...
Fucking hell, can we please get zombies for more than 5 seconds as a viable deck? Holy shit. This sucks.
Nah, Wizards just sitting there yes, this is how rotations are supposed to work.
The 3-month window for zombies to be... But, what are we going to get next year?
If they won't let us rotate every 3 months, we'll force it.
Is it going to be in Core Set 20, we're going to have 5 more great zombie cards? Everyone's going to be well, fucking time to whip out our Lilianas for the last 30 seconds of this rotation again? Holy shit. Regardless, she is amazing. She comes down on turn 4, lets you cast your zombies in Commander from your graveyard immediately. You can mill yourself. Again, I might be changing my zombie deck around as well. We're going to talk about this at the end. We're going to talk about massive changes Commander 2018 might be leading to, which is funny considering how... Never mind, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
She has removal. She has protection. It's crazy. Sarkhan Fireblood... looks almost like Tybalt.
He's a better Tybalt, but what's actually interesting is he's changing the face of Skred in Modern.
Yep.
So the idea is you want to get rid of Koth of the Hammer and start running Sarkhan instead, and you run dragons as your top-end threat.
Yep.
Because now you can support them with him.
All you need for Sarkhan is his +1, the middle one, because there's 2 of them. Shit.
Yeah. No, his first one is what you really want. His bottom one is okay, well, here's a big fat dragon.
So you know what Sarkhan should say? Pay 3 mana. You may discard a card if you do draw a card. At the beginning of your next main phase, add 2 mana so you can cast a 6 mana dragon on turn 4.
Pretty much.
That's all he needs to say. It's stupid. We have in Standard, he has Nicol Bolas decks because he can support Grixis colors off of mono red. It's just Saffron Olive. He did a video a week ago. It was one of his Much Brew ones. He did Sarkhan Dragons, where he did 5 color dragons in Standard. And it worked because every game he was drawing a Sarkhan, getting him down, and hitting dragons on turn 4.
I forgot about the any color. In the back of my head, I'm oh, it's red. And then I'm it doesn't say that anywhere on here.
In any combination of colors as well. It's not even add 2 of one color. It's any kind of mana you need to cast. You know why? It's because of the Elder Dragons. That's the only reason this is worded this way is
I
because
think
they
it's
were
also
putting it in
because
a set
the
with
last
this.
time we saw Sarkhan, he had the same ability. It was float a mana of any color.
But I'm pretty sure this is kind of pre-time. I don't know. I don't know it well enough. I haven't been following the stories recently. This story set has been Ugin and Nicol Bolas while also doing stuff on Tarkir. It's like flashbacks to Ugin and Nicol Bolas learning about being born and doing early dragon stuff / Tarkir. Because according to Morrow on his blog, his Tumblr, he said, according to player feedback, Khans of Tarkir and Dominaria have been the most well-reviewed sets since Return to Ravnica.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Khans was really, really good. That set came out like the week before my local game shop closed, and I just remember how excited and amazing it was.
And then we have Vivian Reed, who is the most green planeswalker in history. And if I ever build my Vivictus Asmati deck, I will put her in there because that might be a semi-planeswalker deck. She is insane. She's card advantage. She destroys very annoying permanents, and she gives you an emblem that's really good.
Yeah, she's really green.
What's not to love? I think she's amazing.
All I'd say, this is a very green card.
And you know what she isn't? She is not a Garruk, and she is not a Nissa. Moving on to other reasonable cards. Resplendent Angel is going to go into Lycia someday. I just have to get one and figure out what I'm going to cut. Apex of Power is one of the most flavorful cards ever, even though no one's ever going to cast it.
Yeah, no, it's really stupid to actually cast it, but it's super cool to think, oh man, what happens if I do?
Speaking of reprints, Scapeshift and Crucible of Worlds, both unfortunately mythic, but still, those are some amazing reprints for Modern.
We also got Omniscience in here.
Omniscience, yes. Omniscience is an amazing reprint because that hasn't been printed outside of that Amonkhet Invocation.
It was like M10 or something that came out?
Yeah, it was like M10 or 11. It's been a long time.
We got the reason the slivers died, so we get our cycle of monocolor horses.
You know the green one is crushing it in the standard right now?
I'm not surprised. It's a big, fat hexproof with some kind of
hexproof.
Yeah.
Hexproof is busted. Nexus of Fate, the buy a box promo that is having the world be pissed. We talked about it a little bit.
Real quick before we move on, just because I was looking at the green horse skin. We're seeing more examples of Wizards going away from the idea of protection and more of just like very specific color hosing. I think it was Dominator was the first one that was like can't block or be blocked by creatures of whatever color, which is basically in combat it has protection, but it was like spells can still interact with it.
Yes, because they realize things like hexproof are very annoying because you have to have board wipes.
Yeah.
Which is why the green one is good, because hexproof means you can't target and destroy this 5/3. You slap any kind of enchantment or equipment on it, and bam, you're getting punched for a lot.
Yep.
And the Scarab God can't reanimate things because they're black. That's why it's busted. But all the other ones can't be blocked by the color that they kind of oppose. And then they have an advantage when an opponent does something that would be in those colors. Like, it's the reason green has hexproof, because black removal.
Yeah.
But regardless, Isolate is the card that should have been printed printed directly into Legacy trash bins because Deathrite Shaman got banned and now it's useless.
Praying Omnipotence has some of the coolest artwork I've seen.
It's so cool. This 3-card story arc of Fraying Omnipotence, Apex of Power, and what was it, Patient Rebuilding that we're going to get to?
Yeah, I think
the Nicol Bolas power gaining, losing, and then rebuilding. Fraying Omnipotence, you know what's funny? I didn't know this. In Two-Headed Giant, it's an instant draw card. Because each team loses half of their life rounded up twice at the same time. So if you're losing in Two-Headed Giant, Fraying Omnipotence draw. It's a dick move, but it's totally there. Thorn Lieutenant, which is actually another part of this mono-green Stompy deck that has apparently been taking off in Standard. Graveyard Marshal is just another cool zombie. 3/2 for 2 black that lets you make tokens.
It's actually really good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's rare.
Also
all right,
just
no
a
wonder
beater.
why it's so good.
Oh, yeah. Demanding Dragon, which is going to take the semi-place of Glorybringer. after rotation.
Yep.
Runic Armasaur, which is apparently seeing a lot less good than everyone said it was going to be when it's spoiled.
I don't know.
Well, yeah.
I feel like that's the kind of card I'd put in Commander. It's cheap, you can get out early, and you always have that one guy who's always trying to get repeat value off of something.
That's true, but...
And so you can get a lot of draws. Like, honestly, every turn I use Sisay, you have this out, you're drawing a card.
I guess in Commander, I feel like there's more powerful things you could do. Like, you know what this reminds me of? Remember in Amonkhet, there was that mono-red Harsh Mentor? Whenever you activate an ability of like a creature or an artifact that's not a mana ability, the opponent takes 2.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that kind of saw
that card.
Yeah, that kind of saw a little bit of, like, I remember Rich Shea doing a little bit of play with that in Vintage, and then it just disappeared because it just wasn't doing enough. I feel like that's
there's a lot of times where it doesn't
the
happen.
trap this falls into.
The other thing is, I feel like it happens more in Commander.
That's true, but like, I guess drawing a card in Commander is also a lot better than 2 damage.
Also in green colors. Like if you're in mono
That's
green,
true too.
This feels like green's version of God, what's the card thing? It's the blue enchantment. Whenever you cast a spell, it's like 1 mana, or they get to draw a card.
Rhystic Study.
Yeah, it's like it feels like a shitty green Rhystic Study.
I guess that's fair. I guess when you think about it that way, it's kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Liliana's Contract is one of the most cool flavor win/fails because it doesn't really make sense that you'd win the game, but it's a cool thing to reference 4 demons.
Yeah.
And drawing 4 and losing 4 for 5 mana is a pretty good rate, especially for, again, budget players who are just starting. Supreme Phantom. Spirits is a thing in Modern again.
Yeah, Spirits.
If I was going to ever build a Modern deck, it would probably build Spirits. Because Spirits is just so cool. They're like the low-to-the-ground angels.
Pretty
but
much.
in Modern, that matters.
Hydra is pretty good for Hydra.
Goreclaw is cool, even though it doesn't work with bears, much to the chagrin of the Magic community. But at the same time, it's just a really good green commander.
Yeah, if they spend more time complaining about bear tribal, I'm going to kill someone.
Phylactery Lich is a cool... Goblin Trashmaster, yo.
Oh my god, that name.
Throw goblins at artifacts. That's actually crazy good. Cleansing Nova, one of the that's one of those cards that you print into the top 20 monocolored cards of EDH Rec.
Yeah, this is what? It's 1 mana less than Austere Command. It gives you slightly less options, but still.
Or 1 mana more than Wrath of God that lets you switch from creatures to artifacts and enchantments.
Yep.
Like, it's right in the middle, and it's perfect. Psy Master Thopterus, my favorite card in the set, obviously, except for Tezzeret, because he draws cards and he makes Thopters.
Yep.
My boy Thopters. Open the Graves, a card I might put in a zombie deck someday. Someday, maybe. One with the Machine, draw a bunch of cards, even though I'm probably never going to run that card in the Brea deck, but I might run it in what we're going to talk about later.
That art is nice.
Remorseful Cleric.
Graveyard hate.
Being tested in Modern and Legacy, I think. Maybe even Vintage.
I'm not even remotely surprised.
I mean, having instant speed, flying creature... I mean, we saw how much Selfless Spirit, having an instant speed protect all your other creatures is getting played, is being played.
On its own, it's a cheap spell that has evasion. It passes the basis of what you want for a creature, but that effect is like... The effect is why you're playing it. Everything else is gravy, and the gravy is good enough as a standalone creature.
For example, it's a spirit. It goes in the spirit deck sideboard.
I think this defensive Death Baron's been reprinted in forever.
Which is amazing, and someday I want to get the promo for my zombie deck, because they also printed the promo with this set, which looks gorgeous. Actually, how much is that right now? Because we're going to talk about it, but we found out next time it's $30? Ugh, I have to get it though. It's such a cool full art promo. Actually, it was last printed in shards, and then Plane Chase.
Okay, this goes a while back.
Jeez. Yeah, it hasn't been reprinted in a long time, but
Gigantosaurus.
Let's continue the theme of giant, all green mana symbols and make the card bigger and bigger, just like Galta.
10-10 for 5. This is ridiculous. I can't believe I'm looking at this.
Dude, I think you can get it out turn...
3, probably.
3 in because it's Llanowar, Llanowar, or Druid of the Cowl. Turn 3, 10/10. What do you even do other than have removal?
You attack every turn and hope it doesn't get blocked.
Sarkhan's Unsealing. What a commander card. Again, this is what I mean, where Wizards is clearly at the point where they're just printing cards into Commander directly all the time. Because they know. Like,
They're like, this card is way too janky for an actual constructed format.
Who would ever think of playing this? But Commander players always want weird shit. Alpine Moon, another card printed straight into Modern because they hate Tron. They heard the years of Tron hate. I think this card's going to see almost no play.
The day this got released, I saw it and I was like, oh man, Tron players must be crying right now. In the meantime, Tron players are like, oh man, I can use this card to hate out every other deck that's trying to hate out Tron.
Well, or it works in the mirror because it's only opponents.
Yes. It was like I was sitting there going like, I can't believe Tron players are happy this is being printed. Probably not going to see much play.
I think the only way a Tron player would ever be truly unhappy is if there was a card that said all Tron lands lose Tron land types. Because then it doesn't work in the mirror.
It may have been in this set. Where we're something about losing land types.
I mean, there's this. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no, it was this. Sorry, no, that was our discussion was about this.
Jeez.
Yeah, forgot it.
You know why I don't think it really matters? Because 1 mana, we got to go so fast. Blood Moon. It comes down the same turn as Tron, which does suck, but it shuts it down so much harder. Blood Moon is just so much more versatile, not in just the Tron matchup. It just does so much in Modern. It'll probably see some play, but I suspect it's kind of like it's one of those cards that everyone's like, wow, look how good it is, and then it kind of fades a little. You know?
I feel like this is one of those cards that it's safe for Standard. This is like they're not going to print Blood Moon in Standard. They realize how warping it is, and they're even pissed that it was in 8th edition and snuck into Modern. I think Alpine Moon is their standard fixed version that they could theoretically reprint if they're ever going to do like a set where it's like, we have some crazy freaking lands going on, and they don't want to do land destruction. This is the card they're going to print, Alpine Moon.
The problem is I don't think we're ever going to see anything as crazy as multiple mana from lands like Tron. So what does this shut down? Because this gives you 1 mana of any color.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't fix like color fixing.
Like that's the other problem. That's why Tron doesn't hate it, because Tron's like, okay, Tron tends to win the long game anyway because its stuff is so big, and now you're just letting me cast my Nature's Claims off of my Tron land.
Yeah, plus the last time we saw the lands they're actually threatening, it was Battle for Zendikar, and they just weren't having man lands.
Infernal Reckoning card printed into sideboard. It's like they printed the card and it said sideboard on top. Like in metas where Eldrazi go crazy, this is really good.
Yeah.
Mist Caller is a kind of cool.
Mentor the Meek reprint.
Mentor the Meek reprint's awesome. Patient Rebuilding, more stuff for that Modern mill deck that never works. Lathless Dragon Queen, the sneaky, super duper good dragon card.
Oh my god.
Isareth the Awakener, the most not fun at all and actually kind of disappointing Reanimator commander in a long time. Stitcher's Suppliers seeing play in, I think, even Legacy, because milling 6 for 1 mana is really good. Self-milling 6 is really good for 1 mana. We have Thud, which is sorcery speed. Fling, which is hilarious. Gutter Snipe reprint with the unfortunate new art. I think it's cool art if it wasn't for the original art being so cool with the little glowy red hand.
Yeah, the original one's classic, but I do love Gutter Snipe as a card.
Yeah. Double Cast.
We got Bone to Ash with the Avengers Infinity War reference right in the art.
Oh, yeah. It's printing a meme. What else? Okay, we're gonna get to the multicolored stuff where the real.
Johnny's Primate reprint.
Skilled Animator, the guy who is in Soul Artifact on his body, which is actually cool. Rexage reprint. Sneakily, probably really needed that. What?
I didn't even know Rexage got reprinted.
Oh yeah, it's in
Hell
the
yeah, I love that card. Murders
Militia
here.
Bugler, which is actually seeing some modern play, I think, because it's like a slightly less powerful ranger of Eos that comes down quicker.
Yep.
Oh,
they got lightning strike. I
lightning
clearly
strike.
wasn't looking at these
Standard.
spoilers correctly.
Yeah, Freeman, come on.
Switcheroo.
Always a necessary reprint. Devil card, which is cool. Havoc Devils. It's cool to see Devils kind of still hanging around. Someday that might be an actual Commander tribal thing. Aviation Pioneer, another card that's from Kaladesh. Anytime we see a Kaladesh card, I get a big smile. So I know that everyone's like, I can't wait for Kaladesh to rotate. I'm like, no, don't rotate. I love you so much. Essence Scatter, just like Negate every set. Lava Axe, Ed'll be happy. Shock staying in Standard. Shock was only in Kaladesh.
Yeah, we got.
So if it wasn't printed here, it was going to be gone. So clearly
it was also in Battlebond. So they seem like they're okay with Shock being in various formats, right?
Blah, blah, blah.
Colossal Dreadmaw reprint.
Yeah, Colossal Dreadmaw for the 4th Standard set in a row. Fucking ridiculous. Tormenting Voice reprint, because apparently they're fine with that in Standard. Not Cathartic Reunion, because Cathartic Reunion kind of made Dredge a little too good.
I don't know. I'm seeing like in a row. I see like Cancel, Divination, Duress, Lightning Strike. I'm like, oh man, these are all definitely core set cards.
Dude, it's a core set. Look, they knew what they were doing. They knew how to rebuild a core set after so long.
They did it right. These are the pieces you want for random decks. Naturalize.
Then we get to the most exciting,
Plummet.
let's call them probably about 6 cards, maybe 7. Yeah, the most exciting 7 cards in the multicolored slot. We have 4 really cool Elder Dragons and 1 really, really terrible one. One that I would like to build into a commander set someday. One that is really good in Standard. Nicol Bolas is taking Grixis over. One of them that is is probably the most popular one for Commander. Arcades makes walls, attack people, and draw cards. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him beat Doran within like a year.
Probably.
He's just going to smash Doran. Chromium is even a really cool control finisher that you just can't interact with ever.
Yeah, he's so weird.
Nicol Bolas, it's amazing how much that discarding matters. Even in Commander, that everyone discarding a card, even without flipping him, it's real good.
He's probably just going to be the head of my Grixis Good Stuff deck.
Yeah.
Just because
I can see that, yeah.
I always thought of this. I like commanders that are like have a big enough body that they can't get bolted. He enters, he immediately does something. At that point, you got a 4/4 flyer, which isn't bad. And then his flip is basically just like here's a win con on my commander, but I don't rely on that.
You get very vulnerable, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you have nothing else to do. Well, it's perfect.
Yep.
And then my guy Vivictus Asmati, the Dire, Chaos Warp, non-targeting for every player is the best.
I'm not sure if I'm looking forward to seeing that ability trigger.
Oh, dude,
I'm scared just thinking about it.
I have the Invention Scroll Rack from my Narset deck forever ago. I have Sensei's tops lying around. You just stack the top of your deck with things like Doubling Season or a big Planeswalker, and then you just put it on the board for free by sacrificing something like a token or something. Freeman, why don't you sacrifice Daxos for the 20th time so that you can...
You see why I'm concerned. What the fuck are they thinking with this Naya Dragon, though?
Dude, I don't fucking get it. Like, she's so weak.
It's so shitty. Like, maybe if it was like 5-man, I'd understand the downside to this.
Look, 6/6 Flying Vigilance Trample for 6 mana is actually a good rate.
But it's also 3 color.
Yeah, 3 color. And when you look at how cool the other ones are, like, dude, Arcades is 4 mana. And he is
with 2 of the 3 keywords.
More interesting. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, so I said 7 cards, though, even counting shitty Palladium Moors. What are the other 2 cards in these multicolor 10 cards? The 10 uncommons, because they always do this. 10 uncommons, 1 from each dual color pair.
So first of all,
what would you say are the other 2?
I love Enigma Drake, but I'm not sure if that's the one you're talking about.
That is, I actually would say no because that's a reprint. Yeah, it is in my personal commander deck that we designed, but that is not. Let's talk about new cards because that's the
Heroic
only old card.
Reinforcements kind of sucks. Regal Bloodlord. Gain life. It's not that great.
Nope.
Samurai Patrol, Beam Coming, Train Pay, blah blah blah. 1/1 counter. Skyrider's interesting, but I think it's a little too much. I don't know.
If I had to pick an 8th card, that'd be it. But that is not one of the 2 that I think.
He's like 1 mana too much for me, but I was considering him for blue green Zuri because he plays into the 1/1.
Sure, dude. Put a counter.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Poison Tip Archer is pretty good.
Yes, because of his last line of text.
Yeah, Reach and Death Touch is nice. It's a good blocker, but that last one gives you the like kind of the Blood Artist effect.
You know what he is? If Thornweld Archer and Blood Artist had a child, actually no, and Zulaport Cutthroat had a child, it would be Poison Tip Archer. Do you remember Thornweld Archer?
Yes. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
It's literally take these 2 cards and make 1 card out of it, and it's amazing.
I keep thinking Draconic Disciple is going to be really good, and I was pissed because I was watching Command Zone where they had Ashley Birch, who I know her from the YouTube series Hey Ash, What You Playing, but she's the voice of Chloe in Life is Strange. And she was playing with this card, and they like did this whole thing where they kept blowing up everyone's big creatures, and they're sitting there with 1,000,000 mana, and she's like, well, I don't have any big creatures. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is your 3rd turn in a row where you didn't want to just sack the Disciple to get the 5/5 dragon. And no one like mentioned that was a play that anyone could have made.
I think 3 mana for a mana dork, even that is just not worth, especially in Commander, through the Commander lens. It's just not enough.
No, it's not that good. I mean, 3 mana for a 2/2 is not terrible that it's a mana dork, but if you're already at 3 mana, you're probably better off playing like a rock or something.
Yep.
Maybe if you really care about that sack effect, that's kind of shitty and mostly for limited.
I also think in Commander, there's so many better cards in that 3 mana slot, not even mana dorks. Like Chromatic Lantern costs 3 mana.
Yeah.
All right, but you're still trying to find the last card.
Satyr Enchanter is the good one.
There you go.
Yeah, I just skimmed through them. Like, that was the one. It was the green
That's
light.
the one.
The
Another
Enchanter.
We now have, how many is it?
4 or 5.
You have Eidolon of Blossoms, the original Enchantress. No, this is the 5th because you had the 2.
There's 2 greens and 1 white Enchantress.
Yeah, there's the 2 greens, the white, and then there's the Eidolon, which triggers off itself. That's 4, and now this is 5.
Yep.
And that's exactly how many you need. The Commander deck never needs one of those printed ever again. Especially...
I don't know. Daxos could use way more in white, though.
Yeah, well, Daxos doesn't count, because outside of him, no one runs that setup.
Look, man. If people
Talking about
complain
colorless,
about Legendary Worms, I can complain about White Enchantment.
Colorless actually has a lot in this set.
Yeah, we got the big boy.
Outside of Crucible of Worlds, which is an amazing reprint. Dude, Chaos Wand is hilarious.
Chaos Wand is so dopey. I love it.
I would love to use it someday. I don't think I'm ever going to find a deck that wants it, but it's cool. Casting your opponent's spells. But the best card in the entire set of colorless, Dragon Horde.
Yeah, Dragon Horde is great.
Tapping a 3 mana rock for 1 of any color or to draw a card. Because in a dragon deck, it always is draw a card. It's busted. Again, this was in Saffron Olive's 5-color dragon deck. This was so much gas with 2 of them on the field. You cast a dragon. Okay, I don't need these. Tap, draw a card. Oh, I can cast the other spell, use the other one for mana. It's really good. Stupid good. What's not stupid good is Amulet of Safekeeping, which is a terrible, terrible anti-storm card that does nothing.
Oh,
it's
no.
Awful.
Creature tokens get...
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Freeman, you started buzzing out a little. Uh-oh. The Discord call went nuts. Hold on, I'm going to call you back. Freeman?
Yes, can you hear me?
There we go. Now it's better.
All right, I was
doing the...
Yeah, same with yours. What was the last thing you heard from me? Because I think we're using your recording.
We were talking about Amulet of Safekeeping.
Yeah,
and you were like, creature tokens get -1, -0.
Yeah, no one's ever actually going to use this sideboard tech in Modern, but if for some reason they do, I'm getting residually hated out of the format once again.
Yeah, because your Lingering Souls tokens accidentally get
accidentally
-1.
Get just useless.
Desecrated Tomb is a really cool card, though. Whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard from delving, from returning to hand, to library, blah, blah, blah.
Or even if you cast it from your graveyard.
Yeah.
So for some of those zombie effects, it works with as well.
Yeah. I don't think it would ever make the cut in a zombie commander deck, but
the fact that it makes bats instead, if it made like a 1/1 zombie,
oh my god,
I guarantee you it would be played.
Busted. Transmogrifying Wand for the budget players who want to kill things is really, really cool.
Yep.
Arcane Encyclopedia. We finally have a better J-Deems tome. All right. And Meteor Golem.
Suspicious Bookcase. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me with these cards.
Suspicious Bookcase is so, like, come on, dude.
It's such a derpy card name.
The derpiest. It's great. Meteor Golem.
Flipping sick.
I could actually see playing that as kind of a backup Spine of Ishsa. Because if you think about it that way, it's an amazing card.
Yeah, if you can recur it.
Or if you're like Tomer in the Commander Clash that came out yesterday, where he played Sai in Commander Clash and actually made 4 copies of this card. You're really raining shit down. Millstone is a great reprint because, who doesn't want just Mill to always be a possibility, just to tempt people. And then Detection Tower as the one land that is awesome and new. Along with the Reliquary Tower reprint, which was sorely needed.
Actually needed, yeah. Especially for foils.
A slightly shittier Arcane Lighthouse is a good card to print in a standard set. That's about it for M19. We're not going to talk about the Planeswalker deck cards, because who really...
Wait a minute. They reprinted the Grid Skyland in M19?
What?
One of the islands. It has like this grid-looking sky from Shards of Alara.
Oh. That's cool. That actually looks cool.
A Plains that has the same kind of art.
And it's not in this set.
Those are 2 of my favorites from Chippy, and I love those lands. They get expensive because everyone else also loves them.
Huh. Well, there it is. It's right in this set, too.
Oh, man. I gotta pick some up.
Yeah, really. Huh. I never even noticed
I'm that one guy who cares way too much about basics.
Dude, I don't even look at them. Well, see, I care about basics, but I care about unstable basics. All right, but yeah, M19, we're going to finally move on to Commander 2018.
Disappointment 2018.
But overall, M19, I think, was a big success. I think for a core set, keeping in mind what a core set is, it is probably one of the best core sets. I think actually Saffron Elf said on their podcast, it's probably the best core set ever printed, and I think he's probably right.
It's exactly what was needed.
It's what a core set needs to be good. It's not the same thing as every other set in Standard, but it was a very good core set.
Yep.
I don't even want to talk about Commander. Fuck, dude.
So for anyone who doesn't know, every year Wizards puts out a Commander product that introduces some crazy new cool concept to Commander.
It is literally the most important product to us of the entire year.
In 2012, they introduced Shard Commanders, because they didn't exist before. The next year, they introduced commanders that care about being in the command zone, or how many times they've been cast in the command zone, or generally interact with it. 2014, monocolored Planeswalker commanders, the first ones you could use. 2015, I think it was just ally color. Or no, it was it was enemy color with the experience counters.
Yes, because 2015 was the year when I built Arjun and got into Commander finally.
Experience counters were super cool. The next year after that was the 4-color, which had never been done in the history of Magic. That was great.
Probably. So real quick, because this came up on the MTG Goldfish podcast, because they were talking about this. Or on the EDH Rec podcast, actually, would you say that what would you say is the best year of Commander products? I would say the 4-color year is probably the greatest year of Commander products.
I'd probably 4-color. If previously, I'd have to say
4-color or tribal.
Previously, I would say 2013, just because of how many people got into Commander because of that product existing.
That's fair.
And how many times you still see people like playing Alora.
Oh yeah, dude. He was the most popular until Atraxa fucking came.
Yeah. So like that's my runner-up, but definitely 4-color was probably the biggest one we've seen.
I would also say 4-color, but probably runner-up for me would be Tribal. Because Tribal was bonkersville successful.
It super helped that they did dragons.
Yes, dragons.
It super helped they did that.
But now we can't keep avoiding.
So then rolling into 2018, Wizards comes at us with, we got multiplayer Planeswalker commanders, which isn't too out there, but they're like, these decks this year are going to be all based on a theme. Each one has their own theme.
Which is what they're going to be going forward, probably.
Yeah, it's probably what they're going to do, where they're not going to be based around specific mechanics and color balance. It's going to be, we have a couple ideas for themes and base to center on that. And they announced
what were the themes?
The 4 for Esper colors, it was caring about the top card of your library.
Fascinating idea, by the way.
It was actually pretty cool. Bant was Enchantments Matter, which everyone actually wanted in that color.
So bad.
It was desperately needed because Bant has like the best enchantments and auras.
Everyone always was dancing between blue, white, and green, white. There was no crossover, really. You ran things like Janara to just be a commander in Bant.
Yeah, there are random ones you'd run that just didn't impact your strategy at all. It was just for the colors. Then they announced, I'll say the one for last. They announced that blue-red is going to be artifacts, which
boom, baby,
everyone insta-boner. This is what the fans have been asking for ever since forever.
Dude, it's like they knew Joyra wasn't going to cut it for people, and they were like, but we got you again by doing it right.
That explains
3
like
months
Joyra was
later.
just like a blanket, like, yeah, you can play artifacts there, but hold on, we got the cool shit coming up.
Start building the deck in Dominaria, so when Commander comes out, you're ready to play a real Commander deck.
But then, unfortunately, the last one...
No, not unfortunately.
No.
It sounded great on paper.
Because this sounded like a great strategy. They're like, Jund is going to be lands matter. And everyone was like, that's great. Because Jund...
Finally!
Jund is the deck to play if you want to play the grindy lands, graveyard recursion, Gitrog monster with red style deck.
Omnath plus Gitrog.
That's exactly what it was advertised as, and that's exactly what we expected. But you know what happened? Wizards didn't print anything good. Well, they printed some things that were good, but for the most part,
there's some amazing things
there's
in
some
here.
individual cards that are strong, but if you look at the pre-con decks as a whole, the package is a little disappointing.
So
and it cost $5 more than last year.
Yep, Wizards has raised the price of Commander this year. You know what sucks so much? Because when you don't look at the decks by themselves, in terms of monetary value or in terms of reprints, these new cards, 90% of them are balls to the wall, amazing new cards. There are almost no real duds in terms of these new cards. They are so cool.
They're all interesting cards.
Like, I fucking love... So, I've been alluding this whole time to big changes coming to my Commander decks, potentially. The thought has entered my mind of taking my Brea deck from a 4-color artifact deck down to a 2-color Saheeli Izzet artifact deck. And taking my Dimir zombie deck, stripping it down, and making it an Esper zombie deck with Varina.
Oh, that's right. You do Esper now.
Because there's the zombies from Amonkhet. That is much less likely, only because the zombies from Amonkhet really aren't that good.
Yeah,
the only other thing you care about is like removal and stuff, and Anointed Procession.
Pretty much, just for like some support. This is basically how white is in modern.
The option is there.
You run it for splashes and very specific things. You don't run it as part of the main theme.
But it would also mean I would have a zombie commander, not a human commander. So those are some big changes I've been thinking about. But like you look at like fucking I closed the tab because I'm an idiot. The Esper commanders, Eminato, the Fates Shifter.
Super creepy art.
Creepy art, weird abilities for miracles. A fascinating card design. Varina, again, Esper zombies.
It's also only 3 mana for that one.
Yes, she is also only 3. Because she draws and replaces.
Yep.
If it was draw 2, then it would be 4. God, it sounds like a card designer. Varina, who even guessed an Esper Zombie was going to come this soon after Amonkhet? And it's perfect. When you attack, you draw cards, gain life, draw, discard, gain life, and exile to make zombies. Yenet, Cryptic Sovereign, a new Sphinx commander, and Esper Control commander. Estrid the Masked, the Planeswalker talking about the Bant commanders. She makes masks that create totem armor. Who thought we'd ever see totem armor ever again?
Yeah, that was a mechanic I didn't think I was going to see printed again, but it does. So here's the thing, like when I saw her, like I read the first line, I was like, fuck, this is an aura commander. And I'm not gonna lie, I hate auras. They are so prone to getting blown out and getting yourself.
They are the riskiest, probably permanent type in the whole game.
Which is why, like, I saw, I'm like, god damn it, it's based on auras, not just static enchantments.
But then you make.
But then I saw the -1, and I saw, ooh, this is actually pretty interesting.
It's super interesting. Kestia the Cultivator. You wanted a Theros god instead of a Planeswalker? Well, here's your Theros god, who is also an enchantment commander. Or you wanted your Bant Merfolk commander, who could also be a commander? Here's Tuvasa. Like, amazing.
So here's the thing. With the 3 Bant commanders we saw, all of them care about enchantments. And in theory, you could run, if you had Estrid as your main one, you could run the other 2 as part of the 99, and that deck sounds like a good idea.
Sounds amazing.
If you look at just the Esper cards we just spoke about, the 3 of them don't have any cohesion between the 3 of them. They are running 3 very separate strategies. So,
but it does have cohesion because we're saving the one for last.
Yeah.
Because we're not following the Mythic Spoilers order because we have to save that.
Because we gotta be dramatic about this.
But we have the Izzet Artifact deck.
And this one is just like Bant, it does all keep on theme, and I think that's great.
It keeps on theme, but they are also so disparate in kind of how they do it. Because Estrid like untaps and like you get artifacts from auras from your graveyard. Kestia draws cards, Tuvasa draws cards. The Izzet ones, Saheeli does really cool stuff. Brutaclad is like someone out there is already working on a clue token deck. Someone's working on a treasure token deck. Someone's working on multiple people are working on mirror decks because you can finally have a mirror commander deck.
Pretty much just one that's generating for you. He's got a lot of different ways he can go.
He has so much cool stuff. And then Tawnos. All the Vorthos who care about Vorthos commanders are going to play Tawnos.
That's right. We got our Tiny Leaders commander right here.
The guy who... he also is both a Strionic Resonator and what's the equipment? Illusionist Bracers.
That's the one.
On a stick. They all play into artifacts, but they can also both diverge. That's what I love about them. They walk this amazing fine line where they all work in the deck. They can all build you could build a deck off of all 3 of them and only recognize about half the cards between them.
Yep.
That's so awesome. And then we go back to Jund.
And then we see Lord Windgrace, the Black Panther himself. Urborg forever.
Literally the Black Panther.
And he, like, if you look just at him, when I saw his abilities the first time, I said, okay, this is actually exactly what they said they were going to do. This is a card that cares about discarding lands into your graveyard and then returning them from the graveyard and then, whatever. Forget his ultimate. Doesn't matter. Point is, that was the strategy, and he worked well with it. And it was one of those cards I'm like, I guess this is good enough because it's supposed to be grindy incremental value. But
that's Jund.
Then we got to look at the rest of the deck. And first of all, Jund suffers the same issue I mentioned with Esper, where all 3 commanders are just doing completely unrelated things.
But they're less good.
But the one theme, the one they fucking advertised, is barely even present in the deck. This deck is not a Lands Matters deck. This is a Jund ramp deck. And that's disappointing.
So disappointing. Oh my god. It's so... We'll get into it more when we see the new cards, because the reprints, who cares? The reprints... I mean, we didn't get Gitrog, Titania,
there weren't any
Oracle.
high-value reprints. If you want any of them, they're on the market.
Freeman, you know what? Okay, Saffron Olive had some tweets about this, because this was going crazy on Friday, for those at home. When the full deck lists were announced, people were pissed, both about the terribleness of the reprints and the value of these decks. On average, these decks are worth $45 less than the previous year's decks.
Oh, wow.
Taking pre-order prices into account, which are going to go down for these decks. Only the Bant Commander deck really has any actual value because there's some cool enchantment cards. In the Jund deck, Soul Ring is the second or third most valuable card, including other reprints and the new cards. Soul Ring is a $4 card. That's sad. Because we have Lord Ringrace, who's the lands guy. We have Gyrus, Waker of Corpses, who admittedly is a cool new Hydra commander. Jund is a cool color. Because red-green have been the Hydra colors, but black for some reanimation, which doesn't really make tons of sense, but you could do 1/1 counter stuff probably, I guess.
Yeah, plus
I don't really know.
Splashing reasons.
Sure. Yeah, with less power from your graveyard. It's not even really a Hydra thing, but create a token. That's really cool. You can sacrifice, and it's also at end of combat. Or no, you exile the creature from your grave. Oh, it's not even that good for Reanimator. It's permanently one shot. Ugh.
Yeah, no, it's kind of shitty.
And then you have Thantis the War Weaver, who is just a politics Jund commander. All creatures attack all the time if able. Okay, sure. World at War.
It wants to be playing Vigilance in a color combination where Vigilance
Vigilance isn't much of a thing.
It's not super common, except maybe in green.
I guess the idea is you just play a control deck and you just somehow I don't know. Fuck it. Jund is disappointing, but we still have a few other cool cards in the monocolor
more like a lot of cool cards. I'm not gonna lie. The rest of our talk about Commander 2019 is gonna be pretty cool because there's a lot of.
Look at how these fucking cool cards.
Just look at all these fucking cool cards.
Like Arix Methes, I think, the Slumbering Isle, a 4-mana land that turns into a 12/12. Crazy Town.
I was so confused looking at this card because I'm like, oh, that's a really odd land. I'm like, wait, why does this land have a mana cost and power toughness? Like,
why does that have
that's
a face?
Not a land. It's a creature. And then I was like, oh, that's very flavorful because it's literally the same thing.
We have Windgrace's Judgment. Hey, look. This is Decimate, but better.
Actually super good.
Zancha the Sleeper Agent, who is probably the single coolest design not in one of the headlineable commanders. Actually, I say that looking at what the next card fucking is.
What is it?
Zancha's Sleeper Agent is going to be an amazing, amazing politics Rakdos card.
Very cool
it's
Rakdos
stupidly
commander.
Cool. She's a 5/5 for 3. You give her control of her to someone else. Players she has to attack every turn, and she has to attack someone who's not the owner of the card. And any player who's not the owner can pay 3 mana to deal 2 damage to them and draw a card. That is stupidly cool.
Oh, well, the thing is, actually, the third one's anyone can activate that, even the person who...
So, yes, technically the person who she's working for can pay 3 to lose 2.
So this may be like everyone gets more card value. You're going to kill someone doing this.
Oh, dude.
And it's real cool.
But then we have what is apparently one of the most popular cards in the whole thing.
I had to send this to my friend Devin, who he played during Kamigawa, and he loved ninjas. To the point where he has a blue-black... I don't know what commander currently runs, but it's a blue-black ninjutsu deck. And I sent him this, and he's like, this can't be real. I'm like, yes, it is.
It is real, I promise.
We got our blue-black ninjutsu commander, which you can now ninjutsu from the command zone with this
Commander ability. Ninjutsu, the longest... fucking name for an ability in history.
The longest name for an ability that's only going to get printed on one card and probably never again.
You want this to get errated for the 2 legendaries. Remember the rat? There's like a rat and one other one that have ninjutsu that are legendary.
Yeah, they had Commander.
I almost wish they'd errata it, but they won't because they're too lazy.
Yep.
But man, that card is stupid cool. Like, wow. There's only apparently 15 non-unstable ninjas in the game. But who cares, dude? Who the fuck cares? This is the amount of people who... The amount of vocal fucking people who love Kamigawa way more than any market research has shown. Every 5 seconds on Morrow's Tumblr, when are we going to go to Kamigawa? When are we going to go to Kamigawa? Well, all the data says no one liked Kamigawa, but when are we going to go to Kamigawa? We want to go back to Kamigawa.
That's the thing. You got 5% of the player base loves Kamigawa, but they love it way more than 95% of the playlist loves any other plan.
Don't like it. Yeah. Well, I don't know, dude. I love Kaladesh a lot.
You clearly aren't part of the Kamigawa squad.
No joke. Part of the reason I would rebuild Brea as Saheeli is because it's Saheeli.
Yep.
Then we have other cool things like Ancient Stone Idol, which is 12/12.
I saw
that gets cost reduced.
It's supposed to be like Kozilek references.
Oh, weird.
So his appearance, his mana cost, his power and toughness based on his original printings.
That's neat.
All interesting flavor stuff.
But we have other neat stuff,
like
because we have the Monarch token on the battlefield. For 6 mana, get a Gilded Lotus that draws you 3 cards when it enters, but if anyone punches you, they get to steal it and draw 3 cards as well.
Holy crap, this thing is ridiculous.
It's such a dumb card. I love the thought of the games that'll be fought over this. Endless Atlas is really, really, really fucking lame.
Finally, Boros has card draw.
Really, seriously, that's the meme. But there's even as we see in mono. If you look at the first line of monocolor and the mono white card, that is stupid good land.
Yeah, there's a good amount of draw in white. They're trying to fix that issue in Commander.
Retrofitter Foundry. I don't know how to make this card busted.
It's super cool because it only costs 1 mana.
It's the coolest fucking card.
Are like all over the fucking place.
But you know what the trick is?
Just play Thopter and upgrade them to 4/4s.
Well, no. Anointed Procession.
Oh, Jesus.
Sack a Thopter, make 2 4/4. I don't know if I'll ever play it, but it's just one of those cards that I want to play because Kaladesh theme, you know?
Yeah.
Geode Golem. Cast your commander for free.
This thing's stupid.
After punching someone with a fight. That's a dumb. That was like the first card spoiled, and I remember I messaged you it, and you were like, "This is bullshit."
It really is. This is so stupid.
Isolated Watchtower, though, is a pretty disappointing land, honestly, for a rare.
I was thinking it was cool at first, and then I realized it's not that great. It's only a rare because they only wanted to put into the Esper top of the library deck, so that's the only real reason it's a rare. This isn't that powerful of a land.
And Forge of Heroes just is Wizards' attempt to make shittier and shittier commander-related lands that go in every deck.
Yeah.
Like, look at this next to Opal Palace. This looks like nothing.
It's pretty shit. The thing is, Opal Palace didn't interact with Planeswalkers. That's why they made this.
Yeah. No, of course. But they could have done... I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess this is the only way to do it with Planeswalkers because you're right. Like, what if Opal Palace with Planeswalkers is busted?
Yep.
Oh, I cast this 4 times. Well, if I have enough, I can ultimate it on the... No. Going into the monocolored new cards, Boreas Charger, the one I was alluding to a minute ago. Man, that card is good. I didn't realize it's a leave the battlefield trigger, but who cares?
It is. You can figure out a way to get it to go away.
I'm sure you can ping it for 1 with like a Goblin Bombardment or sack it to Goblin Bombardment and gain a bunch of land.
Yeah, probably.
If someone has 4 more lands than you, you get 4 lands out of your library and 1 onto the field. That's so
It's actually really good.
Aminato's Augury is actually a really cool card. I actually think that card is probably busted. It is 8 mana.
It's 8 mana. That's the only thing that's stopping it from being busted.
But in a deck like in Kess, I wouldn't run it in Kess. But could you imagine like a kind of spell slinger, but lots of different permanent types or card types deck?
That'd be dirty.
Probably do something. Blood Tracker looks cool. I mean, that's the only Magali art.
Yeah.
My favorite artist.
Blood Tracker.
And it looks awesome.
It's an okay card.
It's not terrible. It's a delayed greed, but it's on a stick, which is very useful.
Only in vampires.
Well, or Reanimator. Because you could see end of your turn, dump 3 things into this to make a decently large creature, maybe sacrifice it for like a mill effect or something, then also draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
Plus, if you have other ways to put 1/1 counters on it, you can draw cards without paying the greed.
The only problem is on its own, it's 4 mana for a 2/2 flyer, which kind of sucks.
Yes. That is unfortunate.
And then we got the coolest card.
No joke, this might go in a deck someday. This might actually go in the Is It artifact deck if I ever kind of rebuild it. Enchanter's Bane, 1 and a red. At the beginning of your end step, target enchantment deals damage to its converted mana cost equal to its controller unless that player sacrifices it. Red, the meme has ended. Red now has enchantment removal.
I wonder if they're going to put this outside of a commander set in like any other format.
No fucking way. There is no way this gets printed anywhere but Commander. It's impossible. Because it's only a Commander problem. Because, I mean, how often do enchantments really take over in Standard or anything?
They don't, unfortunately.
Like, when do you really think of enchantments being on the field a lot?
As someone who played Theros Standard, I'm biased.
Okay, you couldn't have printed this card in Theros.
No, you couldn't.
Then after Theros, it's like, who cares?
Then again, they printed Naturalize in literally the first core set after Theros ended.
Sure, which is fine.
Yeah,
because this can keep doing burn.
Yeah.
But like, what would run this in Modern? Burn wouldn't. Who cares?
You're right. No, you don't really care.
Other than the only way you would run this in Modern is if you were a burn deck against ley lines.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Moving on though, disappointing land card ignored. Let's talk about. There's two very cool things on these next two lines. The Commander Storm Cycle, which is
weird.
Fascinating. It's a series of 5 monocolored cards that say, when you cast a spell, copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. Create a 4/4 angels for the white, create tokens, copies of artifacts, reveal cards for creatures, copy spells, and reanimate creatures. Skullstorm is busted, but it's 9 mana, so it should be busted.
Yeah.
These are all really, really, really interesting designs, especially considering late game versatility. Like, if you have a cheap commander, I cast my commander 4 times, well, getting 4 tokens of artifacts is a great rate for 5 mana, even twice. Like, that's the thing. Even 2, maybe 3 activations of these, and they're ahead of curve.
Yeah, it made me look into it and just figure out how many of these commanders were low cost. And you had stuff like Gyrus really plays into getting cast a lot. You had
Taunos is only 2 mana.
Yuriko, Xancha, they're both 3. The Merfolk is 3. Even Aminato is only 3. So there's a lot of low cost ones in here. Even though you do have some of the higher end ones. Yeah. So
and in a game that goes long, who cares? Every commander gets cast at least once or twice in most.
Yeah, I count the number of times I end up recasting Daxos in most of our games.
Dude, you cast Daxos like 5 times.
On average, I cast him 3 to 4 times per game.
Yeah, like each opponent's... Dude, Skullstorm for 4? Jesus. Sack 4 creatures and go to a 5th of your life? That could kill someone if they're low enough. What does it take? If they're at 2, they die. So you have to go from like 4 down to 2, 8, 16.
Well, 20, no, I don't think
32.
I'm not. I think it only
rounds up. Oh no, half rounded up, so it would be 1 rounded up to 1. So
yeah, 2. I don't think this can actually kill you.
So yes, it can. It's half rounded up.
Oh, you lose the half round. Oh yeah. It can kill you.
It's like Gisela.
Oh, okay.
You lose half rounded up. But yeah. Also, we have our first ever mono black miracle card, which everyone was hoping for as soon as the themes were announced. Return X cards from your graveyard to the battlefield for Miracle X black. Dude, it's like Entreat the Angels. It's the same exact fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. This is actually a super good card. Plus Terminus reprint's not a bad thing.
Yeah, that too.
Is it sad to think that maybe Terminus is one of the most valuable cards in that deck?
Maybe. It's kind of shitty to say.
That's sad.
I just have to see Wizards come back and like printing a mechanic and just being one-off, like Commander Ninjutsu, Miracle. I like this.
Dude, how awful would it be if Wizards took this as we need to go on Commander hiatus for a year or some shit?
That's the problem. When you go to Wizards and you like boycott a product, you're like, oh, I didn't like this year's iteration of it. It's like, oh, people must not like it entirely.
Dude, there was a thread. There have been threads on the subreddit constantly since Friday about Commander, and someone actually put a post saying, and it got right to the top, I plan on not buying this set, you shouldn't too, or something like that.
Yeah.
And the top comment is like, you're not wrong, this is kind of a shitty product, but oh my god, Wizards has such a bad tendency to say, oh, this didn't sell that well, cancel it. And that would be the worst. This is like I said, every set has something cool. Even the most dud sets tend to have really cool cards, a few.
I don't know if it's Wizards says that or
supplemental
if Hasbro says this.
It doesn't matter, because the result is we don't get more Commander.
Yeah.
And then there's so many cool cards. Like, where is it? Emissary of Grudges. Anything that picks opponents is cool. Myth Unbound is terrible and not worth it.
I thought it was going to be good, and then I realized it's actually terrible.
You realize, yeah.
The only
New Constellation.
Oh yeah.
No, go ahead. Myth Unbound.
Oh yeah, no, Myth Unbound. The only creature I thought it would actually be good with is something like the Marith Will of the Wild. Then I realized no, you don't actually want him to be cheaper at all. But I was thinking like commanders that you typically use to die and then come back. Like that card draw is.
You know what? You know what it works with?
What?
Prosh. That's it.
Yeah.
Food Chain.
Yeah, it works there.
Infinite mana with Prosh already with Food Chain now. Because Food Chain adds 2. You need something else with Prosh to make it infinite mana. This makes it infinite mana for Prosh with Food Chain.
Yep.
And you draw your entire deck. Actually, no. You get 90, depending on when it is, you get about 80 mana and 80 cards.
Jesus Christ.
You draw literally what's left of your deck and get that much mana. Yeah. Assuming you have nothing else going on, which is impossible because you have the kobolds that you sacrifice to Food Chain as well.
Yep.
So, yeah, you basically have infinite mana. I could see that's like the only place.
So a very minor use case. Anyway, moving on to the next line. You mentioned the new Constellation card that doubles target creature's power.
Dude, it's another Xenagos. It's amazing.
I like that the top comment of this card reveals, wait a minute, isn't Xenagos an enchantment? Yeah,
no, this is busted. This is like for 7 mana it makes sense, but you play this double power. Oh, I play. You know what it also counts as? Mask tokens trigger Constellation.
Oh shit! This is 7 mana. It's not super busted, but it is a really good top end for this enchantments entering the battle.
And you know what? It's just a cool card. Constellation. Whoever thought you'd see another Constellation card again without a Return to Theros?
I know, right? Except I feel like a Return to Theros is going to happen sooner rather than later.
Dude, you're not wrong, but I love when they pull up old, because so many keywords have been abandoned.
But like this is exactly what I was saying. Like this is the only new Constellation card.
But it shows that they still know it.
Happy about it. Like they put a bunch of other like already printed Constellation cards in the deck, and they said,
"Yep,
let's expand on that theme. We put Miracles in the Esper deck. Let's expand on that and make a one-off new card."
We got one new.
Yep, happy
it's
they do
amazing.
That.
It's so great. Estrogen Vocation, make a blinking enchantments every turn is actually busted.
Yeah,
because now you finally have a way to blink those without them dying. Oh, actually, no. It makes a copy that you can bounce to reset. Oh, it's even better than I was remembering. Heavenly Blade Master looks really cool and is a cool card to kind of turn a go wide enchantment or Voltron thing into a super go wide. Everwatching Threshold is a new take on pillow forting where you draw cards. Magus of the Balance. We talked about how busted Balance is banned in Commander for a reason. Here's a
go ahead, keep going.
No, what?
Oh, earlier on, I said there was something else that made it bust. I'm like, I'll talk about it when we get there. No one's talking about the fact that you can, reanimate this. You can't do that with actual balance. So it's got the potential for abuse.
Doesn't say exile. It just says sack.
Yeah.
It's stupid. New Lieutenant cards. So awesome. Lieutenant is one of the best Commander-specific mechanics. They're not all great. The blue one kind of sucks. The red one, it makes Thopters, which is why the only reason I might run it someday. The white one is amazingly broken.
Yeah, white one's real
good. And the black one is decent.
Wait, sorry, what did you say about the red one?
And the green one is really busted. The red one's only good in, like, the Saheeli deck I might build.
Pretty much. I mean, it's really cheap.
It's exactly. If it was any more than 2 mana, it'd be garbage. Green one is busted. Black and white one's busted. Black's okay. Red and then blue is on the bottom. It's
black would be good in like my Marchesa deck.
Yerp. Oh my god! Yeah. Wow.
Value. Yeah, that's actually really good.
That's 12. If you think about it, that's 12 damage for owning your commander.
9.
9. Sorry. Yeah. Duh.
That's good.
Octopus Umbra, again, new cards with old abilities. Totem Armor. Making a creature an 8/8 and you may tap a creature. It looks awesome too. Sower of Discord. Make them fight. Like, that is so cool. Why are you hitting your friend? Stop it. Why? Oh, I'm going to punch you. Well, you also punched your friend. It's like, again, just cool abilities. Saheeli's Directive is, what's it called? Red's version of Genesis Wave.
Yep, pretty much.
Artifacts. I don't know if I'd ever run it, but maybe. With Saheeli's ability, it's busted.
It is actually good. Ravenous Slime putting us closer to that ooze deck.
Oh, so close. Someday we're gonna get that ooze deck.
It's gonna be real. I'm telling you.
It's gonna get there and gonna be hilarious. Treasure Nabber Vintage, possibly playable.
I love this artwork that he's got. Soul Ring.
Apparently, if you zoom in, he's also got a bunch of other artifacts going on. I think there's at least the Manalith, the 1-mana one that turns mana into other colors. It's like the Prophetic Prism that doesn't draw a card. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's right on the side. There's also a cup. I think he has on his belt a Pristine Talisman.
Interesting.
I know there's references. Oh, man. I don't see it anywhere on the thread on here. There was something on Reddit. But yeah, there's other cool stuff like Primordial Mist finally making Manifest not the shittiest ability in the entire game. Destroying all flying creatures is kind of like a shittier Bane of Progress because you want to wipe the board of things that matter.
Oh, they printed a red equivalent of Darien.
Yeah,
King of Keldor.
Varchild. What a cool card.
Plus, the survivor tokens look insane.
Yeah, and you give them to your opponents, and then when it dies, oh, thanks for all the survivors. They decided to join me now.
That's a cool card.
It's so cool. All right, I think we're done.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the reprints because they're all shitty. They're really all disappointing.
Yeah, it's pretty crap.
So, we talked about a lot of stuff today.
Yeah, I went on for a while.
Overall, what do you think about these 3 sets? And do you see any major changes to your commander decks since I talked about it a little bit?
So, Battlebond had some interesting stuff, but none of them particularly slotted into any of my really existing decks. With M19, I'm fairly certain there were a couple cards here and there. I don't know if anything stuck out too much, but there were... Actually, no, sorry, going back. With Battlebond, I definitely want to pick up the lands. Guaranteed. I'm getting those.
Yes.
They are, at worst, they are Guild Gates, which I already play in most of my decks. And at best, they're the best. Pretty much.
I don't think they'll ever be as bad. Like, you have to be so late game for them to be Guild Gates. It's so not even a consideration in my mind. They're just unfetchable dual lands.
Yeah. But in terms of, like, M19, I'm not going to lie. I find all the Planeswalkers interesting. I'm probably going to try and find a home, at least for Tezzeret, and maybe try and... If I was still playing 60-card Constructed, I'd be caring about a Johnny. He's not that great in Commander.
Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced Horse Travel can be a thing. Possibly, maybe, not really. I did have a couple ideas for zombie decks, so Death Baron reprint's pretty cool. I might grab that.
Yeah, buddy. Zombies are always fun. You've seen my Jason Girl deck.
Yeah, zombies can be really good. There's nothing like super big that stands out. I might get some new foils now. The fact stuff like my favorites, Rex Sage reprinted.
Yep.
Anything else in here that was like really stood out? There's a couple knights here and there that might make knights playable, but I doubt it.
I've pretty much given up on my Ariel Knights commander deck. Time has proven to me, and reading like Reddit threads and stuff like that for a few months after Dominaria, people being like, "How's Ariel? Oh, I built an Ariel deck, and she's kind of disappointing."
Yep.
She really doesn't have the power she needs, and that really makes me sad, but it's understandable.
I mean, in terms of Commander, M19 doesn't have a lot for me. Most, like, half the set is reprints, and I already own most of them. There's a couple interesting ones. Like, we talked about the Runic Armasaur, the one that draws a card when you activate an ability. Certain cards that I might slot in here or there, but, like, there's not too much that stands out. I'd still acknowledge M19 as being a great set. Maybe not the amazing for Commander, but still overall good set. In terms of Commander 2018... it might just be Kestia the Cultivator. I'm not sure if that's what I would go. Like, there's a couple cards here that are cool. Honestly, all the blue-red commanders are great. I want to do a blue-red artifact deck now because it's just the cohesiveness.
Dude, are we gonna clash again like with
Lord.
SRAM? Let's fucking do it.
Well, it's gonna be way less straightforward than SRAM versus SRAM.
It's the ultimate
Voltron
showdown of
mirror match.
Ultimate Destiny.
Ever since college, there's been so much creative shit in blue and red for artifacts. Ever since I think it was like M19 started doing it. Honestly, the second I saw Thopter Spy Network as a card, I'm like, all right, I'm doing this at some point. But this might finally put me over the edge and start doing it. Just maybe.
I guess I'll give my 2 cents just again to summarize. I honestly think outside of Commander 2018, Wizards has been on a roll. I really am impressed. I think that this is kind of just a speed bump, but I think they can easily turn it around. We're heading into Ravnica. We're only a few months away. We had our first card leak, actually.
Oh, we did, yeah. It was some weird... Didn't it, care about CMC of shit in your graveyard or something?
Yeah, you pay 5 mana to return... You choose, not target, a 1 mana, 2 mana, and 3 mana card to come back to your hand or battlefield, even.
I thought it was the battlefield.
I think it's battlefield, which is really good, actually. Someone not in English, I think it was the Spanish version of the card, got leaked, the promo, which is unfortunate. But yeah, we finally have a spoilers break. For about a month until those start. Doesn't it feel like we've been
we've been in constant spoiler season,
straight into M19, and then M19 was straight into Commander?
I feel like ever since they were talking about Dominaria, it's been constant spoiler season.
Yeah,
I didn't even know Battlebond spoilers were happening until you. Like I was like,
dude, look at this Battlebond card. You're like, holy shit, that started.
I was on the front page of Reddit, and I'm like, what is? Oh my god, I'm already forgetting the name of the card. I'm like, why is there a doubling season reprint? What set is this from? Because I wasn't even on the Magic server. I was on the front page of like just my Reddit, and like the third post is just doubling season reprint. I'm like, fucking where?
Flat.
But yeah, we finally have a break. Everyone's really speculating about Guilds of Ravnica. I'm about to make my bold claim. You heard it here first, folks. But I'm fairly certain that they're gonna reprint the Guild Gates. But don't say you heard it from me.
That'd be really disappointing, actually.
I'm pretty sure they're going to reprint the Shocklands.
Because M19 just had the fucking just the basics. It was the one where they put the tap. Yeah, they come into play tapped. But they took the land slot in some packs.
Oh yeah. So now you have to draft your basic as well, because now I want to call them the evergreen duels. The generic tap lands they're going to put in every set for the rest of time can go there now.
Yeah, it's weird to think these only came out in the last year, isn't it?
Wait, really?
Like they only actually
I thought they started prior to
It was in Battle. Battle for Zendikar was the first one, so 2 years.
Okay, yeah, that sounds more like it.
Because Meandering River was like the first one, and then they did some Innistrad ones, like Forsaken Sanctuary, which has its art here, and then Stone Quarry was in like Kaladesh. Woodland Stream was also Kaladesh, maybe. So, yeah, they started with Battle for Zendikar, but now these are just going to sit in Standard forever.
Yep.
Do you think they'll do Shocklands?
So I actually think they might. I need to review what lands are currently in Standard, because I don't think there's anything super crazy. When Kaladesh goes away, we lose the fast lands. What did Ixalan have?
God, I'm gonna check Mythic Spoiler.
I'm about to just what lands are in Standard?
Let's see. Ixalan had
land Standard from Gather.
Nothing.
Let's see what happens.
Oh no, they have the whatever the lands that look for a basic type of the.
Oh, that's right. The check lands are in Dominaria.
Fuck, dude, that might not make it.
Were the check lands weren't in M19 also, were they?
No, they were in Ixalan. M19 only had those tap duels.
Oh, that's right. It was Ixalan had the ally color, and then Dominaria had the enemy color. Oh, what's rotating?
Kaladesh and Almond.
Okay. Yeah, all right, so we're going... It's going to be just like the last time Innistrad Return to Ravnica, where we had all 10 shocks and all 10 checks in Standard at the same time.
But is that even really going to happen?
Maybe.
I think it would sell packs. That's for sure.
What is it? Ixalan and Amonkhet rotate together?
No. Amonkhet's rotating with Kaladesh.
Oh, sorry, you're right. So Ixalan goes with Dominaria.
Dominaria and M19.
The only way I can see that happening is if they put the Shocklands in the third Ravnica set. And that'd be fucking stupid if we put all 10 of them in the last set.
Well, because the idea also is that the first 2 sets are about 5 guilds, and then just kind of a weird Ravnica devastated by Bolas thing.
I mean, probably the obvious thing is going to be 5 in the first one and then 5 in the second, even if it means color imbalance. Because I forget who was spoiled that, or I don't know if it was even spoiled or someone just was like reusing text from when the original Ravnica was out, but they listed the guilds being featured in Guilds of Ravnica, and it was the 5 that were in the original Ravnica City of Guilds. So there wasn't like an inherent color balance to what got announced. Mm-hmm. So you may see this very short time period of standard where mana is unbalanced. But it also would be fine because your dual colored cards are going to be imbalanced.
Yeah, but plus fucking the Checkland, like they didn't come out in the same set. There weren't all 10. There was the ally ones, and then 6 months later with Dominaria or
Oh no, I understand that when you go between ally and enemy, but then you run into a scenario where like something like Dimir and Rakdos are both in the set, but then there's not a lot of like other ally color, and you get to the point where like there's a ton of opportunities if you're in black and want to be multicolored, but if you're in white, your only option is to be white green or some other nonsense like that.
It's called waiting 3 months.
It's called waiting 3 months for the second Ravnica set to come out.
Like, and there's always something new to hold you over if you play anything but fucking standard, and then also there's here's the other thing. When Guilds comes out, everyone is going to be so shaken up anyway because of Kaladesh specifically leaving.
Yep.
Because everyone's like, oh my god, can't wait for Kaladesh because all this shit is so annoying. But, like, because the whole meta is partially tied to Kaladesh right now, the whole meta is going to be completely different. Completely different once Kaladesh is gone. Like, I feel like this mono green Vinemare and Gigantosaurus deck might take off because mono green Punch You is going to fare really well in a world where there's no Kaladesh or Amonkhet stuff.
It actually is.
To factor in, because I'm pretty sure that's one of the decks that has the least amount of stuff in it for rotation. Like Tezzeret. Or, well, zombies. Fuck. Again, it's so sad. We're getting ahead of ourselves, though. So we're going to... I never finished summarizing. I think the sets are great, except for Commander, and Commander still has some amazing new cards. Some fantastic new cards are in this Commander 2018. It just sucks that the overall decks are much weaker and much less interesting than they were before. And much less valuable for reprints. Like, I was tempted to pre-order one of the decks. They're not going to be overpriced. They'll probably still be in Walmart after a few shipments.
Yeah, you're not going to see a lot of demand for these. I realize if Wizards is more concerned about this, like capturing their casual market, like the ones who don't know shit about Magic, maybe this is going to succeed in that regard. But
it probably will, because if you've never seen a lot of these cards, they're cool cards.
Yeah.
But like anything, like a Courser of Kruphix in the land deck. Come on.
Oh my god.
Fucking really?
Any of them.
That card could have been in enchantments or in lands.
Yeah, you could have made that an uncommon and either. Put it in both.
Do you know how excited people were when... So right before, I think it was the day before or even like a little bit before the full spoilers, they spoiled the tokens and people saw a clue token. And everybody was like,
Tireless
oh my
Tracker.
god, Tireless Tracker's the best reprint for this Lands deck. Nope, it's for some shitty other card. I don't even remember what it is.
Like Magnifying Glass or something.
Magnifying Glass. Fuck. Who asked for that?
I don't even know what that card does. I just remember people complaining about it.
It's the 3-mana colorless mana rock from Shadows over Innistrad, also where Tireless Tracker fucking is, that says tap it to generate a colorless or tap 4 and tap it to investigate once. Fuck you. Why?
Wizards, please.
So, it's funny because, like I said, Commander overall is kind of disappointing, but nothing new is going in my Vevictus deck, that's for sure, if I ever build that and finish designing it. But, like I said, zombies might become Esper, and artifacts might become Izzet. But the problem is Brea gets a lot from black and white. Gets Nile Spellbomb, gets Anointed Procession, gets black-blue Tezzeret.
There is a lot going on in those colors that you splash for.
But then if you just go Saheeli, she makes a lot of mana and you cast big X spells. And it's tough. It's tough. It's tough.
It is a tough call.
The other thing is Brea brings 2 Thopters along for the ride and lets you spend mana to, like, you control the board with Brea. But Saheeli, I could probably do the same thing. Like, you know what sounds nice? Like a turn 5 Spinavish Saw or Meteor Golem or Mirrorworks. Like, that's the thing. It almost to me feels like a chance for me to start from scratch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Brea, it's so hard for me to cut cards. But with Saheeli, I could, like, come up with something new.
Yeah, it automatically cuts a third of your cards right there. And then at that point, you have a bunch that don't fit your strategy.
Actually, it's not even a third. I opened up the Brea list. There's, like, maybe 10 cards that would have to get cut.
Just from being
that's
white
part
and
of
black?
Yeah, that's part of the draw of it, dude, is the fact that it's actually not massive cuts to the deck. All right, let me...
Let's be real. The core of that deck was always blue-red.
Exactly. That's part of why I feel like I could tighten it into my wonderful Saheeli. All right, right here, right now, outside of lands, there's nothing. There's no useful lands that are inherently off color. I do lose 2 artifact lands, but who really cares? I could also tighten up the mana base, and make it actually more consistent. We lose some signets and stuff and some rocks, but I could find better rocks or more interesting artifacts. That's the other thing. There's less signets and stuff because you don't ramp quite as hard, maybe, but you have a lot less useless things. You do lose Thopter Foundry Sword, unfortunately.
It's fine. Every time you go for that combo, you lose anyway. And by you, I mean me.
It also doesn't win the game. Like, it makes Thopters, but without Anointed Procession, who would really care anyway?
Yeah.
You lose Anointed Procession. That's technically 3 cards. You don't lose Storm the Vault, which is very important. Because I know you forgot about that card just like I have, because I've never gotten a fucking cast.
The card's cool, but the question is...
Anguished Unmaking, 4. Battle at the Bridge, 5. Open the Vaults, 6.
Oh, you lose all that removal, though, too.
Supreme Verdict, 7. Daretti Black-Red, which is not as good. Daretti, 8. Tezzeret Blue-Red, 9. Or, Black-Blue. Baleful Strix, 10. Nile Spellbomb, 11. Aethersworn Canonist, 12. Oh, here we go. Herald of Anguish, which I'll cut anyway. Marionette Master, which sucks. It sucks to lose, not sucks in general. And Noxious Gearhulk. And Sharoom. So about 15 cards. Actually, it's more than I thought. Huh.
Interesting.
But this is also not the most up-to-date list. Sharding Sphinx is still on this list. Huh. But that's a card I'd probably add back into a blue-red deck. So there's... Like, I'm almost wondering if I transition Saheeli into the Thopter deck and kind of tighten Brea's control and make it meaner. You know what I mean?
You could do that. You could move Brea away from her original intent, move whatever that was into this new blue-red artifact deck.
Yeah, like pull a lot of this Thopter stuff into that deck.
Yeah.
And make Brea a lot more fuck you artifacts are good deck.
So
I have 2 artifacts.
I'm gonna say it sounds like a good idea, but the me that plays against you in Commander is like, fuck no.
All right, I think we'll end it here though, because we're hitting 2 hours in a second. So,
all right, that concludes today's session of Command Me, featuring
if anyone has stuck around for this whole time, thank you so much for coming on our journey. Where this is mostly just our excuse to sit down for a while and talk about Magic, because we don't get to that much these days.
We're just using you guys as a scapegoat to have a fun conversation.
Exactly. What the hell? Sorry, I'm looking at the Brea list, and for some reason there's like a tilde next to the Daretti Scrap Savant price. Oh, because he's being reprinted, and it's not out yet, technically. That's why.
Okay.
because he's going to be in the new Commander set. By the way, the new Commander. Oh no, he was Commander Anthology. I don't fucking know. Whatever.
Yeah, it was the anthologies. Yeah, that's.
God damn, Black Blue Tezzeret is $23.
Wait, for real?
Thank God I have one.
I got a 4.
Oh,
Tezzerator.
Anyway, thank you all so much for listening if you sat through this whole thing. It is truly appreciated. It's always nice to share Magic, even with one or two other people who enjoy listening to us blather on about this all. If you have any thoughts, please let us know in the comments. We might address them on the actual podcast. We'll just, instead of, because we're obviously not going to have Magic stuff to talk about this week unless something crazy happens tomorrow.
No Magic, no Overwatch. Just being 30 minutes of weeb shit and then Tyler's topic that we skipped last week.
Yeah, really. No, we can talk about his trip to what was it? What's the acronym again? LBI, Long Beach.
Long Beach Island.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was going.
Did you see his new?
Yeah, I saw his pictures.
To bring him, yeah, his Facebook profile picture. That's great. Our boy Tyler sitting on a beach in a bright blue T-shirt with flamingo shorts, reading a fucking book. What a champion! I can't tell what book it is. It's something with a weird animal on the front, though.
Yeah, I can't really tell.
For some reason, he's open to a different page than has his book. I don't know. Anyway, finally, we will sign off. Thank you all so much for listening. Until next time on the actual TNT podcast or on our next Magic special, probably within a few months. My name is Timpedia.
I'm Friedman.
And we will catch you guys
soon.
Depending on when you listen soon.